Good morning, everybody. I recently made a video about my welding table out here in the shop, and really good video, but I left something out in the video because of course I'm doing something out here in the shop this weekend that just didn't make it into the video. And I think it's super cool what I'm doing, and I wanted to just show it and share it with you guys. So here's the deal. Underneath my Nova, I've got the exhaust system out of it right now. You can see my collectors right there with nothing attached to them. I've kind of run into a little problem here in that, you know, I've built this entire custom stainless steel exhaust system, and when I run the tube right up to this collector right here, it doesn't really fit. It kind of is in space, you know, kind of like right there, if you will, but, you know, not necessarily that bad. The entire exhaust system, where it connects right here, needs to move in that direction by probably 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch. And what happens is when I take it and I force it into place and clamp it into place, it then throws off my exhaust tip back here that goes through the frame. And what ends up happening is the exhaust tip right there, I've just jammed a couple of like 1/8 inch pieces of aluminum right here to kind of center the exhaust tip in the car. But when I move the collector over there, it throws this off right here, and all of a sudden my tip coming out of the side of the car fits like crap. And so I finally decided to fix that this morning, and I think the way that I'm fixing it with a welding table is just super cool. So let me show you. So here we are. I find this to be just really cool. You've got this great big kind of elaborate exhaust system, and you can see that it's just constantly changing in every way. You know, it's going from round to oval and so forth. And trying to clamp this thing in place and hold on to it in a very firm fashion, I just cannot imagine how in the world you would do this without a welding table. So if you'll notice, I've taken some of these clamps here and I've clamped, you know, right on to the mufflers right here, to the Flowmaster mufflers, because I figure those are extremely strong. I can put a great big clamping force, you know, 4 clamps all over the place. And the next thing that I did was I used these little L brackets, which have this adjustable slot to them, to basically to just push up against it, so that as I start inputting a tremendous force right there, you know, pulling in that direction, all of a sudden it doesn't allow the exhaust system in other places to move. So you've got an L bracket there, there's another one right there. I put a great big one on the inside here, got another one there, and then there's one that even reaches up underneath it right here. And again, you can get the fit exactly like you want it, because these are slotted sections right here. So after I got the entire exhaust system clamped into place, I knew at this point that I had to do 2 things. I had to supply a force pulling on this that was at a certain direction. It had to kind of go up and in. So I got myself one of these great big brackets that comes with this welding table, and just fashioned a ratchet strap right here, which is ultimately going to pull on that thing. And in order to monitor how much I'm actually moving it, I took some 1/8 inch aluminum TIG wire right here, filler material TIG wire, and just built a little gauge here that just touches up against the side here and touches up against the bottom right here, so that as I start pulling on that, I'll be able to see that space get created. And so ultimately what I'm going to do is, you know, start heating this area right here with a torch, applying pressure with this great big ratchet strap, and then I'm going to pull that. And then once I get it to where it's probably moved, you know, maybe 1/2 of an inch or so, something like that, I'm going to spray some water on this area right here to kind of, you know, solidify the bending, if you will, you know, that I've put in place when I heat this up with a torch. And of course it's going to spring back to some degree when I run off and release all of the tension off of my ratchet strap. But at the end of the day, hopefully I'm going to be able to see that I've moved it like 1/4 of an inch, maybe 3/8 away from both of these 2 pieces. So that's how I'm ultimately making this this exhaust system fit much better on the car. And man, I gotta tell you, I have absolutely no idea how you would accomplish that if you didn't have a welding table. Well, just as I said I was going to do, I used my torch and I heated it up right through here. In fact, you can actually kind of see where it kind of bowed out a little bit right through here as I heated it. And then of course, you know, I had the ratchet strap tied right there pulling in that direction, and you know, it naturally, as I started heating this, kind of bowed it out a little bit. You can see right there. But at the end of the day, I created about a 1/4 of an inch gap right here, and then about a 1/4 of an inch down here as well. So I've taken that entire end and just moved it up and inward that way. Time to put her on the car and see if I've made this thing fit right. We'll see. All right, check it out. The alignment of the collector right there is really, really good. It fits nice, just like this side right here. And in doing so, my exhaust right here where it meets the custom tip that I've made, you can see that everything just fits up really, really nice now. And when I look here at the outside of the car, my tip looks a lot better. I'm still going to put those shims in place. You can still kind of move it a little right now because I don't have my custom plate that I made welded to this. So I'm just going to put those shims in place, one here, here, and here, so that my spacing is perfect. And then I'll come around and then weld this piece to that piece, which will just align everything, you know, pretty much perfect. So pretty cool. Pretty happy with this work I've done today. Listen, I'm going to put a link down below in the description to my welding table over there. You'll find that on our website. Follow along, like, subscribe, all that if you want to continue and watch the Nova get built. Thanks for watching.